So this is our experiment in testing different fuels to power our Puttputt boat boilers. I've got my little testing device that I made out of an aluminium can. Just cut the bottom off, cut a little window in the side. I've put some safety edges on the on the bottom of the sharp aluminium can so that you don't cut yourself, or so I don't cut myself. And we've got a little saucer in the top here. I've got a timer to test how long it takes for the different fuel heat sources to evaporate the exactly 2 mils of water, which is slightly less than a teaspoon of water out of the saucer. So if we put exactly 2 mils of cold water in here, and then I've got a tea light as my first power source, and I'm just going to lift this so it doesn't. Now that is a little too low, so it's actually putting the flame out. So what I'm going to do instead is revert back to my other one, which I made previously, which is a little bit higher. It might be alright as it is. And where's my 2 mils of water? Okay, so we need a timer. You can see that's boiling up already. And there we go, very close to all evaporation. We'll stop it at pretty close to 4 minutes, isn't it? So, hold on. Now, and take that off. It's not that hot because it's quite big, but you want to be careful that if you were using this aluminium one, I would definitely, because all this aluminium would be very, very hot. So I would definitely put some gloves on before you started picking that up and taking it off. But because this is a little bit bigger and the aluminium is not directly on the tin is not directly on the flame, and the aluminium is sort of separated, it doesn't get quite as hot. So we're going to leave that to cool. This candle is going to burn for ages and ages and ages. It's going to last for longer than 5 minutes. It'll last for hours and hours and hours. Now the other another power source that we're going to look at is some vegetable oil, like just straight up cooking oil, and a little cotton wick that I've sort of tied up and put in the bottom of the oil of the little tin of oil, so it soaks up the oil. You've got to use cotton. Make sure you don't use nylon, because nylon melts rather than burns. So we're just going to start this up again. The height of this flame as opposed to this flame is probably that difference. So because the heat, the hottest part of the flame is right at the top, I'm going to just put, to make it fair on this one, I'm going to put this on top of that box of matches so that the flame height is roughly the same. And then I'm going to put my 2 mils on top. A wee bit higher, but that's okay. And press start. And there we go, almost gone. It's taken quite a lot longer, but also the stop. The the height of the candle, the top of the candle, is slightly higher than it was on the tea light. You know, there's probably the you know, the thing was actually the saucer was actually touching the candle flames. So I might just try that again, just a little bit lower, and that's hot, and see if that helps. The other thing, of course, that you can do with these sorts of things, with the oil and the wick, is you could put 2 wicks in or 3 wicks in. The oil would burn quicker. There's going to be no problem with the oil lasting for an extended time, over 5 minutes, certainly over 5 minutes. Look, it's done 7 minutes already almost. So that's not a problem. But if you put 2 wicks in, you double the heat output. So let's just try this again with, this time, slightly. Oh, that's the other thing that I can do, which is going to be unfair. You have a look underneath there and you've got that soot build up, and the soot build up will also be stopping the heat getting into the water so efficiently. So I'm just going to wipe that off. Oops, that's lucky. Pop that on there. Give myself 2 mils. Reset that. Start it again. And let's see if having it slightly lower is going to impact on how quickly it heats up and boils that water away. Here we go. So that is substantially faster. Right. So the next fuel that we're going to test will be methylated spirit. So we'll just put, I've got some cotton wool in this little cup, this little aluminium cup. And if we soak the cotton wool very, very carefully with methylated spirits, and it'll go up and let's reset this. It'll flame up really majorly, I think. Okay, so boom. Now there you can see the flame really big, and we'll start that. Got smoke happening, got all sorts of things going on. Flames appearing around the outside a little bit. And that's almost all gone now. There we go, gone. It's going to be very, very hot. I'm not going to be wanting to touch that. So this off. Blow that out. And we've got a little bit of meth still left in there, but the thing with meth is it burns very, very hot, but it also burns quite quickly. So you've got to, it may, I'm not going to leave it burning for 5 minutes because it's a bit dangerous on here. I've got my cement board stuff here, which is non-flammable, and it's quite a safe material to use, but I don't want it burning my screen and that sort of thing. So we'll just leave it at that. We've got a time of 1 minute 40, so that was definitely the fastest and hottest, but a little less controlled, shall we say. What you could possibly do is make this a little bit smaller, just to give it a bit more control, like a little smaller container rather than that big container. Right, our next piece of fuel is this little firelighter, commercial firelighter. It's about 1 centimeter square, roughly. 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. And we'll put 2 mils of water into the top here. Light the firelighter. And plonk that underneath here. Let's press start. That's a bit smoky and ick as well. Stop. So that, if you have a look in here, is going to, it's very diminished in size, so it won't last very long. Now you can see that that's gone quite small, and it's produced a whole lot of carbon, smoke, and stinks like no one's business, so that's not a great look. But look at that underneath there. So probably it's not it's not going to last very, it won't last very long, because it's covering the bottom of this with, it's not a very clean burn. Basically, it's covering the bottom of the tray with a whole lot of soot, and that will provide an insulation layer to getting the heat into the water. So I don't know about that one. It's not my favorite, but anyway, it did boil the water really quickly, so that's one plus. Right, our last testing material is lamp oil, which is a special oil designed for oil lamps, which are old school lamps before they had electricity. You can see it's quite a big flame. It's got one wick, and I'm just going to slide that underneath. Press my start button, and see how quickly it's a bit of a dirty flame, but we'll see what happens. So basically the whole tray of oil set alight, and you can see the wick is pretty much just burnt to pieces. There's no oil left, and the whole thing just sort of combusted into huge flame, creating this big dark sooty horrible ick. So that is possibly not, I mean, it was quick, but in terms of how quickly it evaporated the water, but it was probably not the safest of options, and perhaps something that we should avoid using later.